You know, when an actor or an actress passes away, we look at their full body of work and saying this is the movie they're going to be remembered for. But Gene Hackman did quite a few different movies, but this movie made him an overnight sensation, a household name, and probably led to the great parts that he did from the late 60s to the early 2000s. Now, Bonnie and Clyde is a 67 American biographical crime film directed by Arthur Penn and starred Warren Beatty, Faye Dunaway, and Gene Hackman. Beatty and Dunaway played the title characters Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker, and the movie is kind of a semi-fictional account of their many negative events in the time of the Great Depression. Now, the key cast includes Michael J. Pollard, Gene Hackman, and Estelle Parsons, who won Supporting Actress award for it. The screenplay is written by David Newman and Robert Benton, with uncredited contributions by Beatty and Robert Town. Beatty also produced the film. Now, most of Hackman's part, obviously, he's playing Clyde Barrow's very, very charismatic brother. But Hackman brings sort of an ad-lib style to his many scenes, and he has probably one of the most important death scenes in gangster history. We'll get that in a second. Now, released in the States by Warner Brothers 7 Arts on August 13, 1967, initial critical reception was mixed, but later swung positive, and the film became a significant commercial success, becoming one of the highest-grossing films of '67. Nominated for 10 Academy Awards, one for Hackman for Best Supporting, and a one for Best Supporting Actress and Best Cinematography. Now, Bonnie and Clyde is considered one of the first films in the new Hollywood era and a landmark picture. It broke many cinematic taboos, and for some members of the counterculture, the film was considered a rallying cry. Its success prompted other filmmakers to be more open in presenting sex and violence in their film. Now, talking about Hackman's part, when Barrow and Parker start going on the run, literally and figuratively, it happens when they meet when Clyde tries to steal, in the movie version, Bonnie's mother's car. Bonnie was bored by her job as a waitress, intrigued by Clyde, and decides to take up with him and become his partner in crime. They pull off numerous holdups, but their amateur efforts, while exciting, are not very lucrative. Now, the duo's crime spree shifts into high gear once he hook up with the dim-witted gas station attendant C.W. Moss. Their exploits also become more violent after C.W. botches parking during a bank robbery and delays their escape. Clyde shoots the bank manager in the face when he jumps onto the slow-moving car's running board. Now, the gang expands when Clyde's older brother Buck and his wife Blanche, a preacher's daughter, also join him. Now, the character that Hackman played was based on Marvin Ivan Buck Barrow, who was a member again of the Barrow gang, who was the older brother of the gang's leader Clyde Barrow. He and his wife Blanche were wounded in a gun battle with police for 4 months after he joined up with Bonnie and Clyde. Buck died of his wounds soon afterwards. Now, there was an interesting conversation between the two brothers early on, where basically said, "Oh, we're going to have a great time tonight." If you know the Bonnie and Clyde legend, you know the fact that Gene Hackman's character, or he's playing Buck, is not going to last the whole movie, and there's different escapades go on. Now, the way it's sorted out, I don't know if Clyde was using Buck to justify it, or he was fighting back against the people that were holding down from poverty. Now, in the movie, Blanche and Bonnie dislike each other at first sight, and their antipathy escalates. Blanche has nothing but disdain for Bonnie, Clyde, and C.W., while Bonnie sees Blanche's flightiness as a constant danger to the gang's survival. Now, in Joplin, Missouri, local police show up at the gang's rented house after being alerted by a grocery delivery boy. 2 policemen are killed in a shootout. The gang is pursued by law enforcement, including Texas Ranger Frank Hammer, whom they capture and humiliate before setting him free. The 5 outlaws then pull off a heist, during which a police chase disables their vehicle. They steal Eugene Grizzard's car and take him and his girlfriend captive for quickly abandoning them when he learns he's an undertaker. Now, because Bonnie wants to visit her family in Texas and give her part of the heist funds, to which Clyde reluctantly acquiesces despite the risks. The gang is caught off guard by an ambush by law enforcement overnight, resulting in many casualties. Buck is mortally wounded by a shot to the head, and Blanche is injured in one eye, losing sight. "Don't die, Daddy, don't die." But the way Hackman plays the scenes before he's finally killed off, he's sort of like, trying to do his best to benefit Clyde. Now, Gene Hackman, in every scene he's in, he steals it pretty much, because you know his personality has kind of run off on Clyde's in the movie, and what he call, not to say Buck was an anti-hero, far from it, but at the various scenes, Hackman's acting style was not pretty well known by 1967, but the way it worked out, he was always stealing every major scene he was in. Now, I don't know exactly why that most people remember Gene Hackman's performance more than anybody else's in Bonnie and Clyde, mainly because it was just so new. You look at In the Heat of the Night, which came out the same year. You got In Cold Blood. You got Robert Blake, Poitier, Steiger, Hackman, and Beatty as the male leads of the new Hollywood. And like I said, and Rod Steiger, of course, being a method actor, because Rod was. But it was kind of a weird thing, because basically Buck would become a bigger hero to the Bonnie and Clyde fans than Warren Beatty. A lot of people in Canada saw Gene Hackman as probably a better possibility of an actor, and I've been proven out Gene Hackman is a way better actor than Warren Beatty, because Hackman wasn't doing the method, but every Hackman movie he was in, and you look at The Quick and the Dead, that the Western he did with Sharon Stone and DiCaprio, he steals every fucking scene he's in. But like I said, the way Gene plays Buck here, again, he should have won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar, because it was that tremendous. And like I said, having a death scene that's so prominent in the movie, basically everybody was talking. My dad told me that. He said, you wouldn't believe this actor, Gene Hackman, he's going places. My dad was a big fan of all time actors, because Warren Beatty was around for a while. Now, the movie was a big hit to the box office. It hit around $70 million. And ironically, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people felt that Gene Wilder's performance deserved an acting nomination. Now, the film was intended as a romantic and comic version of the violent gangster films of the 30s, updated with modern filmmaking techniques. And but the idea about getting Hackman in there gave a legitimacy to it as well. Now, ironically, Shirley MacLaine was a strong possibility to play Bonnie. When Beatty decided to play Clyde, he needed a different actress. Considered for the role were Jane Fonda, Susie Well, Anne Margaret, Sharon Tate, Leslie Cano, who was sleeping with Beatty at the time, Carol Lindley, and Sue Leon. Now, he also wanted Natalie Wood, a former co-star. Now, the film is forthright in its handling of asexuality, but that theme was toned down from its conception. Originally, Bette Newman wrote Clyde as bisexual, and at one point, he and Bonnie were to have a three-way sexual relationship with their male getaway driver. Penn persuaded the writers that since the couple relationship was underwritten in terms of emotional complexity, it dissipated the passion of the title characters. They basically played it out that he couldn't get it up. Now, the historical accuracy, there's a lot of errors in here. Now, Buck's style is pretty well close to what the original was done. Now, the film premiered as the opening film of the then Montreal International Film Festival, and the controversial time was released because of the glorification of murders. Many critics noted that Hackman was either the best thing in the movie or very close to it, and Gene was I think he was ripped off for Best Supporting Actor that year, because there was no way in the world that we were going to forget him with this performance. Now, you're saying to yourself, who won Best Supporting Actor that year? George Kennedy and Cool Hand Luke. This was a rough category, ladies and gentlemen. You had George Kennedy, Cool Hand Luke, John Cassavetes in The Dirty Dozen, Gene Hackman, Cecil Kellaway of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner as Monsignor Ryan, and Michael J. Pollard. I think Hackman and Kennedy was a toss-up, but any other year Hackman should have won. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're probably hearing about Gene's passing just shortly. More details, found dead in his house with his wife and his dog. Also passed away, foul play is not suspected. But the idea about Gene Hackman, ladies and gentlemen, he opened so many doors for the new Hollywood. And as Warren Beatty once said, I couldn't have done Bonnie and Clyde without Gene Hackman. I think that sums it up. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here, we're a tribute to Gene Hackman. Let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, and share.